All right, so we're live. All right, so hey, how's it going, everybody? This is WJ Lundy. I'm with the great Alan Gamboa. So hey, we're doing a quick. Actually, we're not going to do an interview. We don't like that, and we're buddies, so buddies don't interview each other. So we're going to just have a couple beers, whatever your spirit of choice is. We're just going to have a conversation if that works. Do about 30 minutes of that and call it an evening, right?
Sounds good to me, man.
Cool.
Sounds like a typical Tuesday night.
Yeah, typical Tuesday. Nothing else going on, right? I can't even keep track of.
Yep.
Since COVID starts, I have trouble keeping track of days. You probably do too.
Well, yeah, well, being retired, you kind of lose track of days, you know?
Yep. Yeah,
So,
with me, I work from home Monday through Friday, so yeah, I get like stalled out sometimes, and I think it was a couple weeks ago. I woke up, I thought for sure it was Thursday, and it was Wednesday, and I was pissed when I found out. So I was like,
I
one
do
more
that
day
all the
till
time,
weekend.
man.
Yep. Yeah, you being retired, that's probably.
I do that all the time. I mean, even though I'm retired, I look forward to the weekend because we watch my grandson 5 days a week, 2 times a month, and then 4 days a week, the other two.
Right.
So I'm ready, man. By Friday, I'm ready. I'm old and I'm chasing this little 3-year-old around and crazy.
Yeah. So
A lot of fun.
you're retired, but so you retired from the prison system, corrections, right?
Yeah, California Department of Corrections
Yep.
and Rehabilitation. That's their new thing.
That's their new thing. The rehab's got to get in there.
They rehabilitate.
Yeah. So I think is cool about your books, especially like the 5 Roads to Texas one you write, because your characters are corrections guys. So it's true to life. You're writing about stuff you know, where I think it brings some reality to it. I was reading the intro of the last one with the like the M14s, and it clicked in my head because you always talk about that's what you guys carried. So it's like it's true to life, where other people, you can tell when they're making stuff up because they've never been out, they've never done anything. But like you're retired from it, so you've already done all your time. It's not like you're a guy that's never did it before, and then you wrote about something that's complete fantasy. That's where.
Oh yeah, it's hard for me. Like some of the modern weapons, like you write, because you worked with the M4. I've shot one at the range a couple times, but I've never really, had to carry one like you, in the line of duty.
Right.
And so that's why I stick with the M4s, is because I've worked with those for almost 25 years.
Yep.
So I really need to get updated though.
Well, sometimes when I'm reading, even when I'm reading fiction, I let go. Let me grab this up here. I think you sent me that,
right? Yep. I sent you one without the rehabilitation on it.
Yep. That's the old.
I tell you something. Prison guards are very. I don't know. See, those old patches meant something before they put the R on them.
Yeah.
Because old guards would wear them and they wouldn't put the R patches on. It was a big deal. It was silly, but it was a big deal. I'm sure you guys had something, that when you switched over that you could kind of get away with,
Yep. As things change, you try to show you're the old school guy, right? That you've been around, or you're not down with it. Yeah, that's one thing about, I guess both of us can say, like, we try to write from background, write from experience, so it kind of bleeds through. Some things you can't do that, like space opera and stuff. Obviously, nobody's been to space, but I think in Zombie or like our post-apocalyptic realm, even when we're some of these books you read them and you're like, man, is this guy ever even been outside? Has he ever been in the woods? When you hear people like talk about, like, even you talk about distances people travel. I remember watching old westerns with my grandpa, and he'd be like, man, if you rode a horse like that, you'd kill it. He's like, you put it in the ground, because he rode horses. He's like, you can't ride a horse full tilt like that. And sometimes in these zombie books, they're talking about running, and they're like, man, we know you run more than 8 minutes. 8-minute mile, you're dead. These guys are running for, the whole
Oh
day.
yeah.
So it's like, man, have you ever been out in the woods? Have you ever like put on all that body armor and tried to actually fight or run with it? Or, I mean, when you got all your gear on and your pack, it's hard to even run across the street, much less, fight zombies.
Oh yeah, that's just heavy.
Yeah. I mean, you wore all your riot gear and shield gear, and it's half your body weight by the time you get all that shit or stuff.
Well, I mean, we would bitch about having to wear our stab-proof vest,
Yeah.
and I ended up having to wear an Alice rig because, my back was starting to bother me from, carrying the fire hydrant size gas and
Right.
some other stuff, A lot of people start doing that because your back starts going out on you with all that. Well, you
Oh, yeah,
wore
I'm there.
all kinds of stuff.
I'm there.
You wore a tutu and
Yep, I'm there. I know we were over in Afghanistan just putting that armor on, climbing up and down, bunker stairs, start wearing you out. Just so much weight. And then when you're just standing, it's the compression on your back. When I
Yeah.
wrote Walking in the Shadow of Death, there's a lot of in there about hiking and walking, and because you read the book, but
Yeah.
when they're out in the woods and they get separated, all the walking, and someone emailed me and said, man, you guys are always walking and bitching about it. I was like, yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
That was like the most true to life. And then I had another guy in the Marine said, man, I've never read a book that so eloquently put, how messed up you're thinking. So I think in there,
Well, you write what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're writing what you know.
That's how it is.
That's what I like about yours is you throw the reality of, the military in there, military experience, I've got some, but not, near the experience you have in the military. And, but still, you can relate in the, the camaraderie,
the
people you bullshit with. And
yeah, you guys
yeah,
do that too. It's like, I think the more you have of that, the more realism you get. You can tell when guys write books and, they encounter the military or the police and they're always the bad guys. Even like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
They're always the bad guys.
Oh yeah.
So, or the military is always
Yeah.
some secret conspiracy, when in reality, military units, they don't know anything about what's going on. I mean, they follow orders, they don't know crap. So.
No, it goes down. Well, it goes downhill.
Yep. That's kind of how.
Yeah.
Well, in Dead Island, there, it's always like that. They never know really what's going on, the big picture. You always kind of tell it because you do a lot with the big top side, and then you got the guys down on the grunt level. So.
Oh yeah, the heroes in my series, they don't know. They're at the bottom,
right?
Except for in the last book they find out. But they're at the bottom. They're dealing with every day.
Yep.
Trying to survive.
In Torment, like kind of like even Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. It's always the storyline is a big onion, and so I'm always peeling the layers back. I'm always revealing a little bit more, and there's still like when I get ready to write a new one, I listen to the audiobooks of the ones before to try to get. I'm in the middle of so many series now. I got characters all over screaming at me. So I try to listen to the audiobook to get those characters in my head again, and I was trying to figure out where is this going.
I get that because I'm doing that right now with Dead Island because I'm writing the last book. And there's a lot of characters that are going to be in this last book that haven't been in any of the other books,
right.
But we're in the first book. So I'm trying to get their voices and all that. Sounds kind of gay, voices and all that, back in my head.
That's kind of a cool thing too. Like, so you've got yours on audio, a couple of them, right? And then when
all three of them,
all three of them, yeah. So I know the first time I listened to WTF, I switched narrators, but the first time I listened to it, the characters that he read were not the characters in my head. And
no,
John,
I get that because I was listening to it. I'm like, that's not him. No, he doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, I would tell him, I was like, man, you didn't nail it. But then now I did Donovan's Ward with Michael Roholm. He nailed it. Like he had the characters down just like I wanted them. And then
See, I got to listen to that one. I've read it, but I've got to listen to it on audio to
yeah,
catch that.
he's like that dude's like a true. Oh, he's a true actor. I mean, he's been in. I think he was in Law and Order episodes, stuff like that. But he's like a legit guy. And then Andy, when he did Torment, he nailed it too. Like he got my characters down, kind of the way I wanted it. So I wasn't a big shock. But with the first Whiskey Tango Foxtrot book, I'm gonna re-record it one of these days. Because back then it was 2013 is when I put that out, and audio wasn't the way it was now. It was like you were begging people to do your audiobooks. So when I applied to this one media company out in South Carolina, and Eric actually replied back, said, "Oh yeah, they went out of business, but I'll do it for you." I was like, "Oh," so I thought he said you'd do it royalty share, and I didn't even know what that was. And that was when Whiskey Tango, it was selling like crazy, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." So then I don't know, I kind of got into it. Eric does a good job, but he's his own guy, and he's pretty determined about what he thinks is good, and it didn't match up with me. So yeah. Anyway.
Well, Andy, man, Andy does a good job. It cracked me up because I had the A10 brrr sound, and I wrote that a couple times.
Yeah.
And if he does another book for me, I'm going to write that. I'm going to write a whole chapter of just brrr.
Yeah, I was laughing. I can't remember whose book it was, but I have Andy. Some of the things Andy says, because I always put like some silly ass lines in there too. And I was like, one day, somebody with some talent, probably like AJ Powers or somebody, is going to go through our books and cut all his words out and have him say some just silly off the wall shit. Like a secret.
Hey, that's why I try to put some of those chapter heads in there. Yeah, I put some outrageous chapter titles in there, so he's got to read them.
Yeah.
Like goat sucker or something. And
yeah,
he's got to read it with a straight face, and I'm sure he's thinking, "Is this worth it?"
Yeah. What is it? AB voiceovers, ABV or ABW voiceovers. Yeah, he's a pro.
ABW
for sure, and he can knock out.
You know what? Yeah, he can. I like that. You know what? Your series, WTF, it's becoming a Western now. Apocalyptic, in my mind. I don't know, in your mind, it's not, which I dig,
Yeah, when I got I think when I got to 7 or 8, my Bound by Honor, my Lemore influences kicked in. Because then it's like Mountain Men, right? Because you're post-apocalyptic, real world civil. Because I jumped ahead for spoilers, I jumped ahead like 2 years. But yeah, I dig the Western stuff, like with Hanson's new one. I really dig that with the bear dog.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about it, and then I grabbed it one day and I started reading. I was like, man, I'm hooked. So yeah, he got me. That's pretty good. What is that? Gone to Dog? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Gone to Dog.
Yeah.
The only thing is Snoop Dogg on the cover.
Yeah. But I like that too. I like the irony of it because he put it in there and then he's slick because, not to spoil it, but I mean he nailed it, dude. The way he put it, the way he did it, it's like perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe's a good writer, man.
Oh yeah, he can twist the story and then all over the place too. Like he writes it all. Yeah. I mean, all corners of the box. That's smart. I think
the guys are all. What was that movie called? Get Duped. Yeah, all the guys are.
Who was that?
Oh, that was my son.
Oh, your son. Okay.
Yeah, one of my sons. He was asked me about a movie.
We're busy. Get out of
there. Yeah, he didn't. I don't think he. I thought he.
It was the wife. I don't know what kind of sandwiches she was making.
She don't come in. She's scared. She's a scared of you guys.
She's a scared. Yeah, right.
But I really dig your series. I don't know how you can. This is what gets me is I don't know how you can write all these series and work and then balance. You got a young family. Balance your young family, and then do your other stuff that you do. Do your military drill and do your, your 2 weeks or whatever. When you get deployed. I don't know how you can do all that, man. Keep going. I have a hard time I'm not doing anything in writing.
I think it kind of like boom this year. Brian Parker though, he cranks them out. I mean, I was doing when I first got back from Afghanistan, I was doing 3-4 books a year. Dropped down to about 3 and then 2, and I haven't even put one out yet this year. But Parker, man, he's like,
oh wow,
he just generates them, and he was active duty, and now he's working, the big civilian Fed jobs. And
yeah,
he's
got little ones,
Yep. COVID this year, man, it knocked me down. Our workload went way up, and then motivation dropped. I was actually at a wedding last weekend, and it was a bunch of pretty cool guys out there. A bunch of them are readers and stuff, and one of them's like asked me about somebody introduced me as an author. I don't know why. I don't really tell people that, but like friend-wise, I don't tell anybody that lives around me that I write or anything. So most of my buddies don't know. It's just my thing. But it's like, what do you write? The typical questions like that, 5, 6, 7, 8 knucklehead questions they always ask, the standard ones. But he was like, has COVID inspired you in your apocalyptic writing? And I'm like, no, not at all. I was like, if I wrote a book where there's a virus going around that doesn't kill anybody I know, I mean, people are getting sick. I hear about it, but it's not like bring out your dad at bell ringer walking up and down the street.
Oh,
my emergency rooms aren't packed. All I know is I go to the store and I couldn't find toilet paper for about a month and a half. I can't write a book like that. If I write a book like that, people are like, I ain't reading this, I can still go to I can go to my local bar and get takeout and a growler filled. The funeral homes aren't backed up. The emergency rooms aren't backed up. I mean, where I'm at, there is all the COVID stuff is manufactured, I guess.
Yeah, here it's, same. It's just don't mean to sound sensitive, but it's just inconvenience to everybody,
Right.
It's stores are open later and closing earlier.
Yeah. It's weird. Like we live in these overlapping bubbles. So you say that's like, I mean, this isn't political, but this is like in our realm, right? For post-apocalyptic. So 210,000 or whatever the count is now.
Right.
That's a big number.
Yeah.
But what's your scale? So that, like, if that was 210,000 in Michigan, which has a population of 10 million, that's a lot. You would definitely notice it. But 210,000 over the whole United States, it's really not even a drop in the bucket. That's why we don't pick up on it unless we're watching evening news and hearing them panic about it. So a lot of it's real and it can hit you, and it seems pretty proven that it hurts the old more than the young. But
yeah.
It's not like the viruses we talk about where they're damn near 100%. Like in WTF, you get bit or scratched by primal, you're going, and then you get hit, you turn into a zombie. And then 5 roads to Texas, you get any fluids on you or scratching your hair or spit in the eye, you're turning. So
yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to judge when you don't have anything to really go by other than the news and maybe, like I said, stores being closed, you're not being able to get something. So it's kind of hard, and yeah, you to the people that have lost family members, it's horrible.
Right.
You can't deny that, but it's just, yeah. I mean, like you said, our apocalypses deal with apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's, you get sick, you're gonna get shot in the head or eat somebody,
Right. Yep. Like when they talk about, you see, if you pick up books at the store and they have the title, pandemic in it, you're not expecting this.
No. You're expecting, like you said, bring out your dead,
yep.
Living in the basement, waiting to go out and scavenge,
Yeah, the stand and stuff like that. Not the,
yeah.
Bodies in the streets with flies and buzzards and I don't know, man. This is all crazy. So I hope it wraps up because I'm
Well, I,
there's a mental health crisis building, so
oh yeah, definitely.
it stresses me out enough. And I'm broken as it is, but I can imagine.
Well, my youngest son, he has been off work since it's happened,
Yeah, that
and
sucks.
the system here has been broken in Nevada. The unemployment. He got a big chunk the other day because they finally paid him. You know, but it drives him crazy because he loves to work. I mean, as much as you can love to work,
Yeah, yeah,
but he was going crazy.
yeah. It's brutal. That's why I was like, if I mean, we're blessed because my wife, it hit. She's a teacher, so when it hit, well, really, the end of last year was just a write off. Like, boom, boom, you pass, whatever, go home, chill, and then summertime hit, so we cruised through that, thinking that in the fall this would be over.
Right.
Kept going. Like you can bash other people for saying they thought it would fade away with the warm weather. I think we all did. It didn't happen. Maybe the best of us like predicted doom and gloom throughout the year, but it got out like into the end of the summer months. Like shit, we're in now, and I'm just shocked that this stuff is still going on. Probably the good thing is like it looks like medicine is caught up to where they're smarter about it. You don't go in there and your blood oxygen levels drop and they throw you on a ventilator anymore. So but I've noticed there's when people talk to me about it, just being in our realm, that there's a it's almost a cult in COVID
Yeah.
Save
No.
Pray, right? They're obsessed with it, man. Some people get pissed if you say anything, and I'm like, because I had a friend, he said his brother got it. I was like, yeah, you'll be fine, man. Oh no, you don't understand. And I'm like, oh whoa, because usually if you went up to me and said, oh, my brother's in the hospital with pneumonia, and I'm like, oh yeah, he'll be fine. They're cool. If they said my brother's got cancer, and I'm like, oh, he'll be fine. We're praying for him. It's cool. But they say you got
Right.
COVID, man. You better back up. There's people convinced
Yeah.
they're gonna die. So it's
I don't. John, we've taken a turn. We've, us as a country. I'm not trying to be political, but we've taken a turn with everything here. So
yeah,
I don't know.
So yeah, getting off of that, so the early days of COVID, right? When it was still over in China and it was getting ready to float its way here, us being pretty dialed in, and we're phalanx press guys, so most of us are veterans or law enforcement or Joe, but most of us got something, right? And we were pretty,
Right.
I think we were pretty dialed in, batting it back and forth, and we were kind of hoping for the best but preparing for the worst. So what did you do anything special that you think now that was reckless or kind of silly, or did you do anything in general just because of what you write in that not even that you're not even embarrassed of, but just something? Did you do something?
I crawled into a ball on the floor and cried like a bitch. I went out every day for like 2 months. In the morning, I'd get up early and I'd go search for toilet paper. That meme where they got from the road where he's got a shopping cart full of toilet paper?
Yeah.
That was me.
You son of a bitch.
I'd go out there and, they'd say like 2 packages, limit. So I'd grab 2 packages, and then I'd go to another store, do the same thing, The SUV was full of toilet paper. I carried because I was afraid I'd get robbed for my toilet paper. That's pretty silly, but that's how I felt.
It's funny because I started probably way early. I have I have a pretty good store anyway. I don't prep. I'm like a survivalist type guy, but I did have a little stash. I had a put away stash of food and stuff like that, but I
Right.
didn't have a lot of toilet paper. I had a lot of wet wipes and stuff like that. And then when it started picking up really hot and it was moving around the country, I was like, man, they're hoarding toilet paper. I didn't expect that. That wasn't what I planned on. So I asked the wife, I was like, hey, how's our toilet paper supplies going? Because that's normally not my area. It's like, oh, we got plenty. And then I think it was Bourne, JL, down in Pensacola one day, he told me they just made a run on toilet paper down there. And I was like, son of a bitch, I'm gonna have to double check. So I went and looked in the cupboards, and there's like, a 6-pack, and the master bathroom, a 6-pack. I was like, oh, this isn't gonna cut it. I was like, what the hell, woman? You told me we were good. So I ran out and I bought like, I don't know, I bought a little bit. I didn't go crazy. I think I bought maybe another 12 rolls or something small. And then every day I started getting up in the morning, like you're talking about. I'd get up in the morning, let the dog out, and I'd drive to the grocery store, and I'd buy jars of spaghetti sauce, corned beef hash,
right,
canned soups, bunch of pasta, and I was stocking it up. And then it was weird, like all of a sudden everybody was making runs on toilet paper all over the country. It was like all at once, everybody's no toilet paper. So I go into our local Meijer, it's full, they got everything we got. It's like Meijer's like our regional Walmart, I guess, but a little bit more high class. You have to wear shoes. But I went in there, they still had toilet paper there, so I was like, I should grab some. So I grabbed a couple more rolls. And then the Michigan, because Michigan, how we got hit. We shut down hard like New York did. All of a sudden we were closed. I mean, they closed us hard, just slammed the doors. Schools are closed, everything's closed. Factories were closed. And then my mother-in-law calls my wife and is like, what's going on? I went to the store, there's no toilet paper. And I was like, is your mom the only one that wasn't dialed in, didn't know? So my wife's like, well, give her, I saw you buying some extra, give her yours. I'm like, I ain't giving her mine. So I ended up getting strapped, and I went out because I was just bored anyway. I was like, at first I was like, oh, I'm not going out there, I'm gonna get COVID, because it's the 100% killer, and it's in the air and on the ground and everything. So I masked up, got my shit. I went down there to the grocery store, and it was all the racks were empty, but I saw it on an end cap. So I grabbed a roll, threw it in my cart, and brought it back home, and then we delivered it to my mother-in-law. But then Michigan did the senior shopping. They started doing senior shopping here. I don't know if you guys did that or not.
Me?
No, I mean
senior shop?
In your store.
Why would you say I senior shop?
Yeah.
I guess apparently now I do. I got senior discount today when I went to Walgreens. It's like, holy shit. I was wearing a mask, And the lady says, are you 55 or older? I can't tell because you're masked. Because you're wearing a mask. Right. I said, yeah, I'm almost 57. And she said, hey, you get $10 off. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
go ahead.
John, when this COVID stuff first started, like, I think it was like in January, I got really sick for like 2 weeks, sick as I've been, right? And then once I recovered, my lungs were just not the same for a while.
Right.
I'd walk up and downstairs and just be like, and it's not because I got a fat ass, it's just, I was having problems. So I went to the ER, or to the urgent care, and I'm sitting there waiting, right? And this is when they're starting, hey, wear a mask when you're in the urgent care and all that. 2 Chinese nationals come in, 2 women. And they're like talking to a lady, and I'm listening. Everybody's looking and listening. And were you out of the country? No, I've been out of the country in a while. Okay, good. So they come over and they sit right next to me. Right next to me. And I'm thinking, should I get up and move? Would that be a dick thing to do? Would I look like the biggest shithead? So I just sat there and let myself get infected, probably with nothing. But it was just funny. I'm thinking, holy shit.
Yeah.
Really? I have not seen a Chinese national. I live in Sparks in Nevada.
Right.
And now we got a park right next door to our house, and there's a Chinese lady always comes over there with her kid, and they're Chinese nationals. They speak Chinese, and they're, but it's funny. When this all started, I was just thinking, man, patient zero.
Yep. I was out in Washington State, out in Seattle, when the nursing home things broke out, and they started dropping down there and all the outbreak. And I was in Seattle. I was like, oh man, because I was out with the Navy
That's
on
right.
orders, and
I remember that.
they cut us all of a sudden. They're like, all right, we're gonna go back. We didn't cut quick. It was just the end of our mission. And I got to the airport and I see all these people wearing their, N95 masks, and people got masks. And I was like, oh man, I don't even have a mask. I'm a clown. So I'm walking through the airport, and I was like, I'm just gonna get on this flight. I have a direct flight right back to Detroit. I'm good to go. And it was the same thing. I got on the plane, and I mean, I don't know if they're Chinese people from Seattle, but they were all around me. They all had masks on, and they're all crammed in the seats. And I was like, man, I'm gonna get the dang corona, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, the planes are just incubators, man, for everything.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I was like holding my breath. And the thing was is I just had a like you said, I had a horrible cold in February because I thought I might actually cancel the trip. And when I was done, I had a crackling wheezing in my lungs that I've never had before. Like I'd breathe and I'd hear it rattle, and
That's what I had.
I was like, I was probably sicker than anybody on the plane, and I'm like worried about getting sick.
They couldn't figure out what it was, and they gave me an inhaler.
Yeah, that's why I always wonder about that antibody test. I probably should have went and got one just to, to clear it up.
Just so you can say you had it and survived it.
Yeah. Anyhow, all that is. If anything, it gave me writer's block. So I haven't been writing much. I haven't been producing too much lately. I think I work all day, and by the time I spend a little time with the wife and kid and stuff, I get to normally my writing time is 8 to 10 at night. And man, lately I find myself reading and rewriting the same chapters over and over again. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in a block.
Yeah. Well, you put out a lot though, you put out a lot of books. Not like Brian. Nobody puts out books like Brian does.
No, Brian kicks it out. He's like,
I can't see that. I just cannot see that far ahead, man. I'm lucky if I write, honestly, about 50 to 100 words a day some days, It's
weird. Like, I remember when I wrote my first book, and maybe it was even before that, but I remember not that I sell okay. I'm at at probably that 300,000 mark or whatever of books sold.
Wow.
But I don't, I'm not Stephen King or anything, but I remember back in the day when I just was thinking about being a writer, and I was always like, man, if I could, Stephen King and guys like that, they can write anything they want. They can write the grocery list and it's going to sell. And I was like, man, if I could just write a book and then sell it, I'd do nothing but write. And now I know people want my next book. I get them, hounding me constantly, and I cannot freaking write it. So.
I feel you, man. With this last book in the Dead Island series, man, it's just been, like you said, you've been looking at chapters, rewriting them. And that's what I've been doing with this one too, because, I want it to be good.
Right. It's gotta be good. And it's crazy.
Okay. Now, how I met John Lundy is my wife had bought me a Nook for my retirement gift because I used to love to read a lot. I don't read as much as I want to now. Do you find that? Do you find you don't read as much as you used to?
Yeah, not at all. I kind of force myself now.
Yeah.
The wife's been forcing me to read again. So.
Well, good, because I have a hard time. But anyway, so I'm looking at the internet, at Amazon, this new thing where you can get these ebooks, and I see, the Whiskey Tango. Don't drink this stuff. You can't see it. It's awful. It's Dragon Punch IPA. Awful. Anyway, his first book, and it was the coolest thing, man. Zombies and soldiers, in the Middle East, and it was a good book. And at the end of the book, you can email me. You don't do this anymore.
No, sure. I don't do it anymore.
You can email me. So I thought, man, I'm gonna email this guy, tell him how much I like this book, And he emailed me back, and I was like, holy shit, And then we started emailing each other back, sending dick pics and shit, whatever. And No.
Only a couple.
Yeah. Only a couple. And so I did this that I don't recommend people do. Hey man, I'm writing. I like to write. Can you look at this? Tell me if it's any good. I don't know if he thought it was any good or not, but he said, "Yeah, okay," and he's probably going. You write. He
I don't do
reads
it
it. Says, "Hey
anymore.
man," he says, "You got a story here, man. You should write more." So I was like, "Man, major league boner going on." So
I think I edited those chapters and sent them back to you, didn't I?
yeah, you did. You
Yeah.
did. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that
You
was
did.
pretty cool.
That's how I got started. Was with Mr. Lundy here. I don't advise always writing your writers that you are fans of work.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, I don't read people's stuff anymore, and only for one reason, and that's because like I would like to, but now there's this thing of when you put something out, someone claims you stole their idea. So I just
Do you
stopped
get
doing it.
solicited a lot? Do you get people soliciting you a lot?
Oh yeah, I get a lot of emails like with just you want to read this, or I got a story idea for this. Can I send you a story idea? And there's a couple guys that I've known for a while. I'll still
Right.
check their stuff out and redline a few things and send it back. But for the most part, I'm just like, nope. Contact a copy editor, have them check it out. Because as well as
Yes.
I do, it doesn't matter how much I like your stuff. I can't like make people buy it. I can like it and then recommend it and put it out there, and it's still.
Hey, I think the Darkness trilogy.
Yeah.
Didn't I send you that?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about. I haven't. See, I
And
want
you
to
get
write
people
another
want,
one too.
huh?
I said I need to write another Darkness book too. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, you do. You do. You got people lining up for that thing. Now, do you I know you've teamed up with people like AJ and written with them.
Mhm.
Do you like that? Do you like writing with other people? I'm not dogging AJ because I love AJ.
Um,
So, but do you like writing with other people?
AJ's actually the only one. I've messed around with another guy who's kind of a big name guy. I've wrote some chapters for him, but I don't. My name's not on them, but I wrote a couple chapters for him. Yeah, I think because the way I do it, where I have total control and it's real selective, I don't mind. Like with working with AJ, that's the bomb. He's like our ideas kind of meld together, and there's no like when we got together, I was like, hey, it's not like I worked with another guy. Um, I won't say his name, but ego's kind of getting in the way. I don't have a big ego, and that's what I was telling like with AJ when we first talked about. I was like, dude, don't get power trips, don't get egos, don't like whose name goes first on the book, who's his last. Like I won't even talk. People ask me like who wrote what chapter, or who wrote what story. I just say, hey, we worked on the story together. I won't even. AJ could have wrote the whole Donovan's War series, but we developed the storyline together. That's how.
But it's seamless. It's
Yeah,
seamless. I can't look at it and say, oh, who wrote this and who wrote that, because I read AJ's stuff, which I like.
yeah,
Too. Excuse me. And so you guys did a great job on that.
yeah. And AJ, like the way his storytelling is, I mean, it's better than mine. I'm all action driven, where he's more plot driven, and he can get into the characters' emotions and stuff a lot better than I do. Where to me, when I tell a story, it's more of a floating camera on the outside watching what's going on. AJ, you're like
Yeah.
in their heads, and a lot of their emotions, their backgrounds. So he's a better storyteller. So I think with my world and his storytelling, the Hun is like pretty kick ass. I mean, I dig it.
No, you guys did a great job. I mean, like I said, it's seamless. It's more seamless than Five Roads. The Five Roads series.
Yeah, Five Roads is good, but I do know what you mean because we wrote that on a timeline. So because
Yeah.
some people write like I write a whole book that takes place in 4 days. Other guys write a book that takes place over 3 months, You know what I mean? So the way we write, like my chapters end when somebody goes to bed and they start again when they wake up. Other guys, you know, they'll jump ahead 3-4 days or a month or, you know, stuff like that. So.
Well, yeah, that's how my storyline, it followed like a day and then it jumped ahead, you know, with them in the military hospital, and, you know, Ram and Jesse been there a while. You know, what the fun thing about writing Ram is the only character I've ever written that was me. So all his attitude and talking about his shitty range scores and, you know, I can't, you know, that's me. That's actually thoughts I've had, and the stories he tells are actually real stories, you know. So it was fun writing him, you know.
Yeah, that's funny. Like I don't have any characters in any of my books that are me, but I have characters that are other people that I would never name them. But there's one character in The Darkness, and people said that I was racist the way I made him talk, and I was like, that's one of my best friends. That's how we talked. So I was like, oh, is that? Should I call him and tell him, dude, you got to tone it down, man. You're racist. I know you grew up in, you know, Fayetteville, or yeah, it's like, but it's racist the way you talk now. So that kind of cracked me up. But yeah, no, there's nobody that I don't think there's any characters that are like Brad. I think in the first books, he talks about being a wrestler a lot. So like, oh, that's you. No, it's not me.
Well, see, I pictured you as Brad actually when I first was reading the series.
Yeah, then you met me, you're like, yeah, that's not him.
I'm not trying to be, you know, but yeah, Ram I wrote totally based on me. It's the only time I ever done that with a character. Nice. Because he was the prison guard, and I thought, you know what, this is my attitude, the way I'm feeling. You know, he's getting ready to retire, the way I felt when I was getting ready to retire. Mm-hmm. You know, dude, I did one of those jumps when I signed all my paperwork and everything, walked out the front door. Another officer, she came by and she said, hey, Alan, what are you doing? I said, I just signed my retirement papers. I'm out of here. And she's like, oh, you know, that's cool. And I went, yeah, and did one of those jumps. And I tell you what, man, there's a lot. Well, you know, you've had times probably when the invisible stress just goes off you, you know, and that's how it was.
Yeah, when you get on the Freedom Bird to go home, and it's just like all.
I didn't even go pick up. I didn't want to go back to that place. I didn't even go pick up my retirement badge. I don't have a retirement badge. I got retirement ID, but not a retirement, because I didn't want to go back into that place.
Nice.
I probably should have said, hey, can you send it to me?
Mail it to me.
But I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wanted out of that place. Not that I didn't love it. People I work with are great. You know how that goes.
Right.
You know,
right.
it's the people you work with.
Yeah. You know? It's all about your brothers and stuff. It's just yeah, I know how that goes. It's still like that. Like even when you talk about I talk about the Army sometimes with people, because I was active duty then, and it all sounds really cool. And then every once in a while, one of my nephews or something like, oh no, don't get me wrong, it sucks. Yeah. I was like, the stories seemed cool and reliving it seemed cool, but you were miserable and cold, and yeah, it sucked. Every day sucked, but now it's cool.
Yeah, because you look at
we did it now, but now it's fun. Yeah, you make some of the best friends of your life. So that's cool stuff. But, yeah, man. I think we burned up about, I don't know, 45 minutes. I think we nailed a good window here, right?
Yeah.
All right. So unless you got any alibis, you got anything else you want to say, or what is this going out on Halloween, right? To the undead.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
Yeah, happy Halloween. If y'all are watching it, hopefully we didn't bore the hell out of you. Hopefully you had
read Zombie. Read Falnex. Yeah. Read Falnex Press. Look them up.
Yeah,
a lot of good writers. My wife always says I say that wrong.
Phalanx Press. Yeah, check us out. And then check out Five Roads to Texas, Dead Island, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Hit us up on
Zombie Rush.
Zombie Rush. Yep.
Rich
Dale Borns, Day by Day.
Rich Baker's No Way Out.
Oh, there you go.
His
Zed's World.
Zed's World series.
Yep, Zed's World. Yeah, we got a lot over at Phalanx Press. We're killing it over there. Hit us up, check us out. If you're interested in some crazy off the wall, like no limits banter, go over to the Thunderdome. the Phalanx Press Thunderdome. That's our uncut area. So
It's a safe place.
it's a safe place. Yeah, got 10 authors. Most of us are all, like I said, most of the authors in Phalanx Press are former military. J.L. Bourne's over there, Brian Parker, Rich Baker, G. Michael Hopp, Alan, myself, AJ, Johansson. I shouldn't have did that because now I'm going to forget somebody, right? Owen,
Carl.
Darren Weremoth, Carl Sinclair.
Yeah.
All right, which who I forgot? Fucking blast me.
We'll hear about it from down under.
Yeah, they'll hit me up. I should have said at the beginning to pop a top so you can stay in the spirit world with us and know what we're talking about.
There you go.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna shut it off. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. If you want us to do it again, let us know. Hit us up in the comments. Maybe we'll try it again. Thanks, fellas.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.